So overnight, deadly Russian airstrikes battering the capital city of Kyiv. Ukraine saying the attack killed at least 9, injured more than 70 others. That strike comes as President Trump pushes a peace deal continuously. Short time ago on Truth Social, he posted this, quote, "I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done," end quote. Kurt Volker, former U.S. ambassador to NATO, and Kurt, good morning to you. Play this clip from the Oval Office yesterday with the president talking about the war.
I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky, and I hope that Zelensky, I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far it's been harder, but that's okay. It's all right. But I think we have a deal with both.
Also in that comment, he said, "I just want the war to stop." What his administration's been saying for a week now, many of them, is that if you don't do a deal, we're out. How much of that is negotiating and how much of that is serious, do you think, Mr. Ambassador?
We don't know that, and we also don't know what being out means. If it's just ending efforts to broker a deal, but you keep sanctions in place on Russia because of their aggression, and you find a way to keep providing arms to Ukraine that's not coming out of taxpayers' pockets, that would be okay. But if we end up lifting sanctions, cutting off Ukraine, and letting the war play out, that is rewarding Vladimir Putin for his aggression. It's just letting him take Ukraine.
So it's been reported that the U.S. is willing to concede Crimea. That was taken in 2014. Zelensky's saying no deal on territory. It's been 11 years, and I'm just curious, how red do you think that line is for Zelensky and the Ukrainian government?
Yeah. I think it is bright red for the Ukrainians. And it's not ours to give away. It's not our territory. It's not our country. It's Ukraine. And Crimea has a 3,000-year history. It's been part of Ukraine. It's been part of Turkey. It's been independent. It's been part of Russia. So this Russian claim that it's always been part of Russia is just made up by the Russians in order to claim it. And handing it over to Russia or recognizing it as Russian territory is a reversal of Trump's own policy from 2018. You had then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo read out a statement in Congress on behalf of the administration that was very explicit, saying the United States does not and will not recognize Russia's claimed annexation of Crimea. This is an illegal occupation, likening it to the situation of the Baltic states at the end of World War II or the situation of East and West Germany. So saying now that we would recognize it, and yet Ukraine would not, Europe would not, it's really puzzling why that's even something we're talking about.
I want a quick answer on this before I ask about Iran. How close or how far do you think we are from any sort of peace deal right now with this war?
Well, I think we're very far away, to be honest, because Putin is the one who is creating this war, and Putin is the one who needs to stop it, and he's not feeling any pressure to do so.
All right. Marco Rubio talking about Iran's nuclear program. We've gone from nuclear to civilian. This is what he said in a podcast with Barry Weiss.
The Iranians have shown a willingness to talk. We're going to talk to them. If Iran wants a civil nuclear program, they can have one, just like many other countries in the world have one, and that is they import enriched material.
There's a word in here. It's called trust. How do we measure that now?
Well, the Iranians had a civil nuclear program under the JCPOA. They lied. They hid their enrichment facilities. They were building a nuclear weapon. And that is why, in his first term, President Trump cut off the JCPOA and said, no, we're not buying this anymore. Now we're talking about going back to where we were.
Oh. Sir, to be continued on both topics. Thanks for coming on. Kurt Volker, thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Bill.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.